Hey, hey, hey! Welcome to AAA Wednesday, which stands for Ask Alyssa Anything, and this is my weekly Q&A session where I'm answering questions you left in the comments about the publishing industry and writing a better book. For anyone who's wondering, yes, Luca is present today. There he is. He loves joining in on these sessions. 2 quick pieces of housekeeping before we get into the questions. Number 1, if you're new here and haven't yet subscribed, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. In addition to these Q&As, every week I also publish deep dive content into either an aspect of the publishing industry, or I talk about tactical writing tips you can apply to your own work in progress. And it's a really small thing, but if you can just hit that thumbs up button, it really helps out my videos with the YouTube algorithm in ways I don't understand. So I'd really appreciate it. Without further ado, let's dive into the first question today. Would it be strange to begin querying a manuscript you stopped querying more than a year ago? There's absolutely nothing wrong with taking breaks when you are querying, and there's no issue with you querying a manuscript for a while, then stopping for a month or 2 months or even a year or more, and then querying that same project again. The only stipulation for making a manuscript eligible to query is that it is not published anywhere. So long as you haven't published that manuscript in any form since you last queried it, there's no reason why you can't send it out again. Just be mindful that agents typically won't accept re-queries of the exact same project that you've already sent to them unless there's been a substantial revision such that it's pretty much a different book entirely. You'll want to check each agent's individual requirements here. Hopefully they'll state whether or not you can re-query them later, but if the manuscript is the exact same from when you queried a year ago, then I wouldn't query the same agent. That said, when you're querying a year later, you're likely going to end up finding a lot of new agents to query, which can be really helpful. Maybe agents opened up to queries that were closed when you were querying in the past, or there might be agents who have now joined the industry and are ready to start building their list. So you might have new opportunities. As long as you still feel up for querying and it's not getting you down and you feel compelled to do it, then go ahead, there's nothing holding you back. Here's the next question. I have a question about pitching. Is it appropriate to call your novel upmarket when sending requests? I'm working on a fast-paced sci-fi with strong character arcs and a voicey first-person narrator. I'm afraid it might sound arrogant and would really appreciate your thoughts. I'm really glad that you brought up this question because I had a very similar conversation with one of my clients recently about how to present your genre and if you can use terms like commercial, upmarket, and literary. My answer is absolutely. If you feel like your book falls into the upmarket category, there's no reason why you can't put that in the query letter. You'll likely find many agents who specifically say they're looking for upmarket fiction. So if yours is upmarket and you present it as such, then that's likely going to pique their interest. There's no ego or arrogance involved in you labeling your work as upmarket or literary for that matter. And on the flip side, there's no shame in labeling your work as commercial either. I really reject the idea that literary fiction is somehow higher level or upmarket fiction is higher level than commercial fiction. They're just different and they're serving different functions for a reader. One is not necessarily better than another. They're just descriptive elements. And in the case of literary fiction, it is basically a genre in and of itself. So I'd recommend educating yourself on the differences between commercial, upmarket, and literary fiction. And if it feels like your book really does fit into one of these categories very clearly, there's no reason why you can't put that in your query letter. I do have a video that talks about these genre distinctions, so I'll go ahead and link that in the description below as well. Before we get into the next questions, I have a really exciting announcement. And before you skip ahead, I promise it is something totally new I've never mentioned before. I'm really excited to be launching a totally new series of content where I do deeper dives into specific editorial issues that I come across as a professional developmental book editor. And I want to bring these directly to you all because many of you have works in progress and may or may not be able to work with a developmental editor. So I want to bridge that gap with this type of content. So if you're familiar with my Chapter Break newsletter, if you're already subscribed, then you will see a tease of this premium series that I'm trying out. As always, my interviews that I publish via the newsletter are going to remain totally free. Also, for anyone who has not yet subscribed or checked out my newsletter, there's a free resource that you get for just giving me your email address. It's called My Story Self-Assessment Worksheet, and it is a resource designed to help you look at your work in progress and identify its weak areas as well as its strong areas so you know what to focus on your next draft. I've been getting amazing feedback from all of you on my newsletter, and thank you so much to those of you who have already opted into the premium series. I'm really excited to hear what you all think, so please don't be shy and let me know. Here's the next question. I just finished writing my 5th novel. Now with sending out queries for it, I'm not living and breathing the main character like I did when I was writing the story. I'm finding that I miss walking in the character's shoes every day. It's kind of depressing. Have other authors ever expressed something like this to you when you were working in the literary agent angle or in the editorial part of your career? I've definitely worked with authors who felt a personal connection to their characters, especially their main character, and felt some sense of loss whenever the book was finished and they were no longer inhabiting the character's POV day in and day out. So everything you're feeling is totally valid and normal. I think the key to overcoming this sense of loss when you're no longer as connected to this character is to get your head in the next book. And that book could be with that same character. I've seen authors write spin-offs or write short stories with a very similar or the same main character, or write a sequel or a novella because they have more to explore with this particular character. Now, if you feel that this novel is complete in and of itself and you don't want to do anything more with this particular character, then try to get your feet wet in another story. And I feel that you're likely going to form just as strong a connection with your new protagonist as you did with the protagonist that you lost, so to speak, of course. It's almost akin to losing a pet and then feeling that void in your life. And many people, as we know, do go on to get another pet and they love them the same amount, just in a different way. So that's kind of the metaphor that I think fits this situation. We have time for one more question today. What do you think about books that break traditional writing forms? I'm writing a novel that deviates from usual structures. For example, I alternate chapters between the past and the present, and I have spaces in between paragraphs with the text left aligned. Do you think writers should experiment with the form if it supports the story, or do you think it might be too disruptive for the reader? Whenever you're deliberately breaking an established narrative format and doing something more jarring on the page, you just want to make sure that the story is calling for this and it feels justified for the story you're trying to tell. If there's no real rationale or reason behind the huge formatting shift or the break in traditional technique, then it could prevent the reader from fully engaging with the story and it could feel disruptive. However, if readers see this experimental form as an integral component of the story and it really ties into the content that you're exploring, then it could really enhance the story. I'm never going to be one to say you shouldn't experiment with your form. You are a creative as a novelist after all, and there are plenty of examples of successfully published books that do break the molds when it comes to traditional narrative forms. So if you feel compelled, go ahead and try it out. You might end up getting feedback that leads you to rein it in or maybe tweak the way you play with form, but there's no reason not to try. That's all we had time for today. If you have a question you'd like to ask, drop it in the comments here and it will be added to my queue for my next session. Before you head out, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button to help me out. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And please go ahead and check out my newsletter with my new premium series and my story self-assessment link in the description below. Thanks so much for watching and happy writing.